Hi, my name is Alec Hoon. I'm on the Kennedy Krieger faculty, and I'm here to tell you a little more personal story. And I hope you'll enjoy this. And really, I think the message, the thing that I would like to impart is, number one, finding balance between your professional and personal life, and number two, that willingness to take chances. So here goes. Okay, so here's Kennedy. Here's the people we take care of. This is a collage of images. These are children up in the upper left. That's the Bennett Blazers wheelchair basketball team. We recently featured them at a Maryland Terps men's basketball game. They played 6-minute halftime, and the fans there appreciate their skills, and a range of children we take care of at Kennedy Krieger, some of whom have static disease for whom they're going to live a very long time, and some of whom have diseases for which life is going to be short. And our job is really there as a collective team is really to maximize that potential for all these children. Okay, so it's 1974. I told you the personal story. There, me on the left, I went to St. Andrews Prep School. That was 1970. I ended up at Davidson College. That's myself and two buddies, 1974, we graduated from college. Well, those were a different time, and it was a time when people just were willing to take chances. And so, for many young people at the time, it was to go to California. And so, that's on the picture on the right, that's my brother on the far right, his friend, my best friend David, myself and my girlfriend at the time. And we ended up in California. And next slide. And this is what we were doing. So why I was doing this, I really can't tell you. This is, This is the United States Forest Service. And basically this is the Tahoe National Forest, and I ended up on a fire brigade there. And most of the time we spent was very boring. We spent cutting brush and just doing menial things. And I might say that the native peoples in this country, they cleared the brush, so there weren't massive forest fires. And the Forest Service had a policy where no longer was brush cleared, and so we tried to reestablish that because fires start from the base and burn up to the tall trees. Anyway, these guys and myself, this is literally what we did. That we started in cow pastures in Central California and ended up on a helicopter flying to the top of a mountain. And we were armed with shovels and pickaxes and things like that. And here's the crew, okay. Half the people on the left had really lived the hippie dream. They'd come out of Haight-Ashbury, and they really didn't have a clue. And I wasn't Haight-Ashbury, but I would consider myself in that group of human beings. The other half had witnessed a darker scene, and we spoke about the military. These were people that the same age as me, 18, 19, 20, 21, had been in Vietnam. So, we were on the same fire crew. So you can imagine two groups of kids, and suddenly we're thrown together. And here we are. And so we cut fire line. And basically the first person went in, tried to cut a line for the fire, and the next person would enlarge it. And we would start in the evening and work all night. We had the lamps on our heads, and it was just really quite an amazing thing. And what was extraordinary was how much was passed between those two groups of people. One group who had no clue, and one group who had seen way more than any human being should see. And we got along really extraordinarily well. I would add that those people that were there and those people in the Middle East, these are lifelong things that don't go away. And they keep these memories as I've kept them in the stories they told. Okay, so now 3 months later, I'm at the University of Pittsburgh medical student. Yikes. There I am on the left, coming out of California, not really having a clue. And there I'm on the right, not much more of a clue. I might say, for those of you that are not stellar students, in those days, they reported your grades on by your class number, and they put them on the wall. Okay, so from highest to the lowest. And I can assure you, I never started from the top. And I was delighted when I was a third way from the bottom. And so that was that. And so the group in the back there, I know where most of those people are now, that they're friends, and we sat in the back row, we were kind of the misfits, but we got through. Okay, and so then I got married, and this was wonderful. This is my wife, Cindy Starr, and yeah, this was just a couple days after I graduated. And again, the times were different, and we got married outside, all the jazz. And so what I thought was I was going to move to Bardstown, Kentucky, have a practice. My wife's a computer scientist, raise a couple children, and this was going to be our lives, and this was all just how it was going to be. And we got there and did that for a couple of years and got restless. And so that, again, my message is that willingness to take a chance, even when you're scared and you know what's going to happen. So I quit my practice. We thought we were going to go to New Zealand. So my wife flew down there, got jobs at Dunedin, Christchurch, Wellington, Auckland. She got jobs everywhere. I quit the practice I was in, and I couldn't get a job. Humble pie is not a tasty dish, but for those of you who tasted it, it's a necessary dish, I think. So I remember walking around in Louisville, Kentucky thinking, what have I done? Oh my gosh. So we decided to go to Canada. Okay, so, yeah, are there Canadians here? So we ended up I don't want this story to go on and on, I only had 6 minutes, but next slide. So I ended up in Vancouver, British Columbia, as a neonatal fellow. And this was, the firefighting was an extraordinary experience. I will carry those memories and those people and those stories with me, even as I speak to you right now. So I hung with these two guys in the middle. That's Morris, and me, I'm on the left, obviously, Morris and David, and that was the airline pilot. We took this provincial jet, that incubator, and flew all over British Columbia and got babies. We would fly in these little native villages, the towns where the hospitals were no bigger than this room. And the GPs up there were wonderful. They stabilized the babies and had 5 incredible years of fun just doing neonatal medicine, wild experiences I couldn't imagine. And then, starting to get more serious, this was the first of my mentors. This is Judy Hall. She trained under McCusick. She was the head of medical genetics at University of British Columbia. And Judy was amazing. I only spent 1 year with her. I really couldn't keep up in medical genetics with her. But for those of you that are going to do academics and research, you get mentors. You find people that challenge you, that tell you things that you don't know the importance of for 20 years. Or 30 years. This was 1984, and now I'm acknowledging Judy all these years later, what she offered, and I wasn't even smart enough to see it at the time, but she stuck with me. So then it's time to come home. Okay, so I'm a roamer. I'm the Eastern Shore branch of the family, and this is my grandfather who was mayor of Chestertown with John Kennedy when he was running for president of the United States. And so the pull of family, the pull of, okay, you've had your fun, you've done these kind of amazing things, now it's time to come home and be serious. And so I came home. And again, now I'm at Kennedy, now we're talking about what's happening now. This is Gary Goldstein, the president of Kenny Krieger on the left, and Michael Johnson, vice president, done a lot with neuroplasticity. And again, I've had the great good fortune, for reasons that I don't even understand, to have Mike be my mentor. So out of this mentorship has come a lot of things. It's come, and I'm not claiming credit for this. Okay, we're a team. We think collectively. There are no my patients. There are our patients. We think, what can we do in a collective sense really to help children? This is a group of geneticists, genetic counselors that try to look at the underlying cause, the underlying etiology of cerebral palsy. This is the clinical team that I work with. These are the people I work every day, and they're just wonderful human beings. I trust them implicitly. The woman on the bottom left, Fran Tolley, is the most important person to me in a clinical arena on a day-to-day basis. She gets me and keeps me out of more trouble than anybody else. This is the nursing team on the left, and this is our research team on the right. Again, the theme of these 3 slides is collaboration. Be willing to sublimate your own ideas into a more group way to think about things, and you can really accomplish things. So what have we accomplished? Well, we actually discovered things. Now it's really getting unbelievable to me. This is Susuma Mori, who has piloted using Brownian motion of water protons to map white matter pathways. So this is a publication we had about 3 years ago looking at CP. The child on the left is a typically developing child. The dogma, the teaching for 20 years, yellow is corticospinal, red is thalamocortical radiation. The dogma in preemies was that the reason a child with prematurity has CP was corticospinal tract abnormality. Well, we showed using DTI that in fact it's thalamocortical. We created this model. I can't tell you it's really improved care, but it's improved understanding of cause of CP. And I'll leave you with this. And finally, and most importantly, the last slide, this is my family. And for all of you high achievers that want to spend a gazillion hours in this place, find that balance. The one thing I will tell you before I sit down is, in 1992 when I came here, my wife said, I can't take the children and pick them up both. You have to do one. You have to do, well, I wasn't being a good guy. I'm not claiming any good guy status here, but I said, okay, I'll take them. So I took my children through school. They're now grown. So I got to Kennedy in those years at 9:30, and then 9 o'clock and 8:30. And some of you can appreciate this. You can't imagine the grief I took. Where is this slacker? You know, where is he? Everybody else is here at 7:30 doing the work. But I will tell you this, the most important thing I can offer as advice to you all is protect your family. Protect those times, whoever your partner, your children, whoever they are, make them feel most important. And then you'll be successful in your professional life. Thank you for your attention.